I'll take Dr. Helen. Is it done now? Dr. Helen, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
I'm here, my dear. First of all, I love your jewelry.
Thank you. It's from Kenya.
I was going to say I saw one of those in Malawi. So it's absolutely beautiful. Okay, so Dr. Helen, would you kindly share your experience with us?
Okay. Well, there are many instances I could refer to that I've either experienced or witnessed because, when it comes to racism, there's a spectrum, right? So you can go from overt and aggressive form of racism to a more covert, subtle, but maybe equally damaging form of unconscious bias or maybe microaggression. And one thing about Ireland and the Irish way is that, people are not confrontational. So everything is grand and everything is lovely. And while they're not pressing on the necks of people physically, it's covertly when it comes to opportunities and interpersonal relationships. The thing is, one can heal from physical scars, but I think the most harmful effects come from the situations where you're made to feel inferior and then being helpless because you can't take yourself out of that situation. And the detrimental effects to your mental health are second to none. And the most common place where this is exhibited is in the workplace. But then, you can experience it in the streets, in the shops, in hospitals, and so on. So I'm going to talk about two of mine. One is on a packed Lewis in broad daylight, where a man who was slightly drunk or inebriated, he yelled at me for a few minutes, saying that I was a monkey, and the N-word.
He used the words monkey.
Yes.
You are a monkey.
Yes, and the N-word. And that I had come to Ireland to steal all the jobs. He spat at me.
When was this?
Probably 3 to 4 years ago. He spat at me. So I got off the lowest and waited for the next one. But the worst thing about that situation wasn't that it was like the longest few minutes of, I don't know, of my life, but ever. Or that it was even embarrassing. But I think the most annoying thing was that no one said a word. Everyone just looked away, or more covertly in the workplace. In my previous job, my boss refused to learn my name or my role for the first year and a half. Right? So this thing, it doesn't skip anyone. You could be a doctor, or you could be a cleaning lady. You could be a lawyer or a healthcare assistant. It doesn't skip anyone, okay? He refused to learn my name. And then whenever he was doing tours in the office for visitors, he would skip me. I wouldn't be allowed to represent my company. Now, you might hear that and think, oh, maybe it's because of my abilities, or maybe I can't speak properly, or maybe I will...
Obviously not a reason.
Yeah, or maybe I'll embarrass him somehow. But he actually let it slip that he preferred more pretty girls or Caucasian girls.
He didn't say that.
He did. Unfortunately, at an office dinner, he got a little tipsy and let that slip. Now, just to let you know that I was the most qualified person on that team. And I started off pretty much the same time as everyone else. I was the one with the most output of high quality work. And dare I say it myself, I was the most innovative team member. Then to add salt to the wound, I discovered that I was the least paid by 5,000. So I had to work extra hours. Pardon? No, I'm not.
Why? Wow.
And that too was when someone let it slip. I had to work extra hours to prove myself. And then I had to write a letter to my boss outlining my contributions. Then I requested a meeting to discuss it. And then only then was my pay brought up to meet the least paid from that 5,000. So I had to lobby my way. Eventually, I was able to attend the conferences and so on, but I had to work twice as hard just to let my voice be heard. And I also had to ensure that the quality of my work was fantastic and no one could call me out for it. But none of my teammates had that battle to fight. And at some point, I just felt so helpless. There was nothing I could do about it because as long as I'm a Black woman, statistics say that I'll have to work the most and get paid the least. And my abilities are just not enough, regardless of how educated I am. I went to RCSI, for goodness sakes. But fortunately, I snapped myself out of that because I refuse to believe that I am beneath anyone.
Very
and I
good.
just forged ahead. And I own my space. I
Very
don't
good.
let anyone pull me down. And
Very
whenever that happens, I use it as a calm teaching moment for anyone who is ignorant or anyone who tries to put me down. And
that,
what has happened now is that, like, that's what I have to do. But it's so much energy to do that. And, you know, that's where the white privilege comes in. People they don't think like that. They don't have to deal with those battles, you know.
well, you
Or
see, what's happened here, Helen, is that you have just propounded a template, as it were, for young people, those who are here on this on this in this rally, who are here in this rally, and those who are on the panel, for them, whenever they're facing challenges, some of the things that you've had to do to overcome, right? You are sharing that, and you're saying you can overcome. Yes,
yes,
you might have to do it twice as much as anybody else, but you can overcome. And the fact that you overcame is courage in itself, and it's hope for those who are watching as well.
yeah.
And it is
So just before I go, I just want to say that, you know, while it might take a few years for legislation to be effected, the most immediate change that we can actually work on is on our intrapersonal relationships and our interpersonal relationships. So this time and this opportunity and what is going on in the world now, it's time for you to stop and think about how you've been conditioned to reduce yourself. And what is it about the system that's made you think that because of your skin color, you are inferior? Or that, you know, that is not true at all. If anything, you have abilities way beyond what you've been conditioned to think. And what is the mental thing that it has done to you? So now is the time for you to speak up for your rights, for your skills, for your promotion, for your salary. Speak up when you're being treated unfairly and document it. Document it. Like, I can't even, I can't emphasize how important that is, to send an email to someone who can make a difference, or to save that log for yourself, because in the future you can accumulate that information and it becomes evidence for you. So I just want to put that out there, that if that ever happens to you, please do it in a way that is dignified, because that's something that they like to use against us, is your mode of delivery. If it's too aggressive, if it's too obnoxious, they'll focus on that rather than what you are saying.
rather than the issue itself.
Exactly.
Well,
Yes.
I tell you something, Dr. Helen, you are part of the solution. You're obviously part of the solution. And as we drive towards a meaningful, practical, realistic solution today in this rally, you are part of that solution. And I believe there's a lot that we're going to be doing together. I mean, just listening to you tells me that there is hope, and that our children can definitely be encouraged to first find themselves, define themselves, understand the power that they hold as individuals, as people, you know, people who have the opportunities to stand out. There's nothing wrong with standing out. As a matter of fact, you know, sometimes people pray, oh, I pray you stand out amongst your peers. So, you know, so thank you so much for sharing that powerful message, and for actually even giving solutions as well to some of the challenges that people might be facing, which you've experienced yourself. Don't go away, just be right there, and I'm going to